Welcome in to another episode of the Chuckin Buckets. I'm your host, Jeff the Stat Guy. South Carolina Gamecocks coming off the 68-65 win over Texas tonight. You already know we deep diving into that thing. We'll be right back with you right after this intro. We spinning it. And tonight, you already know, joined by my co-host, my guy, KB. What's going on tonight, KB?
Man, good, man. Feeling good right about now, man. What about you?
Hey, man, anytime we on here, celebrating a win is much better than the other way around.
Grinding. Yeah, for sure.
Well, man, I guess, look, let's just rip the Band-Aid off of this thing. South Carolina with the 68-65 win over Texas at home. I guess the first thing we'll talk about our girl Allie getting I think about 5-6 minutes or so of run in the first half. Didn't see her in the second half. What'd you think about her action today?
Not mad at the minutes that she got. I think we're just looking at a big body down low when we talk about trying to go against Odecker and just some of the height that Texas has down low. Like I said, not mad at it. Obviously, she didn't really, give us anything offensively or, record any boards, anything like that. But I think that was just to kind of really get her feet wet. So yeah, not mad at the minutes that she had. Definitely looking forward to, maybe the next game for her to kind of get into that rotation since we've seen her kind of first off the bench when it comes to the bigs.
Yeah, I will say after it was announced that she was going to play tonight, I was glad to see her off the bench early and just kind of thrown into the fire. Defensively, I like her length. I like her lateral movement of being able to hedge. And I know we play a lot of drop back off of that pick and roll. So with her, it might be a little bit different. We might see the defense do some different things with her in the game. The only thing I wish we would have seen is she didn't touch the ball a single time on the offensive end. I wish just that first possession, maybe not even run something for as far as a post up, but let her handle it on the dribble handoff or the big handoff up top. You know what I'm saying? Just let her touch the ball and be involved in the offense. I felt she was just on the court taking up space.
Yeah. She definitely was. But again, I think I was kind of fine with it. But I think a lot of that was due to the kind of the pace of the play, some of the up and down, not really getting into a lot of sets in that first half. Honestly, we weren't really running a whole lot of, half court offensive until maybe the fourth quarter because it was so kind of up and down, or they had the full court press on us, so we were getting down maybe 10 seconds in the shot clock, and then from there we were just kind of scoring straight pick and roll type action. But again, I think that'll come with some more game reps.
Yeah, so I guess, man, I'll give you the give it to you. What you want first? Good, bad, or ugly?
Let's talk about the good though. Let's talk about the good. We'll talk about the ugly and we'll end on some more good though. I think good part is we gutted out a win. Let's give credit where credit is due. Wasn't the best game that we had, but we knew coming into this game we were gonna have to grind it out. I know prediction wise, I know we talked about maybe coming down 1-2 possessions. I still think it came down to that. Needed to hit some free throws. Still, I think we finished still under 70% from the free throw line. So obviously, there's some opportunities there. Joyce, I think she stepped up in certain moments, but she still had some opportunities from the turnovers. I think we were still looking at 6-7 turnovers from her, unfortunately. But Raven Johnson, I called it beforehand. I think she still gets a player of the game for me. Just consistent. She knows when to kind of settle things down. She had 1 or 2 turnovers here, but at the end of the day, man, we don't win that game without Raven Johnson.
For sure. And our guy Pharaoh getting in the chat. Nice ugly win for us. Hey, Pharaoh, we appreciate you always loving and supporting us and always down to jump in the chats, whether it's the live streams or the recorded videos. So we appreciate you tagging along with us tonight. Hey, man, always a good night when the Gamecocks get the dub. KB, I'm right there with you. Raven Johnson scored or assisted on 12 of our final 20 points. And I want to say what, five of the ones she didn't were free throws. And
Yeah.
so just, I mean, down the stretch, she was massive. The two big time leaners were great. And I really mean, once she started taking the ball out, it kind of fixed some of the inbounding problems we were having. Inbound it to a big, then come get it back. Texas really couldn't deal with that. So I felt Raven was for sure our player of the game tonight.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, speaking of the inbounds thing, like we did get exposed on a couple things today. I think it's the first time we've seen the full court press, this much in a particular game. And shout out to Texas for changing that game plan up and exposing some of our ball handlers. Obviously Raven being our main ball handler, but Maddie, but she's on the bench. So we see McKeer have a little offensive foul turnover and just maybe not just used to that full court press, from a great team like that. And we had to change some things up, man. So definitely shout out to Texas just kind of exposing us on that end. Another quick call out, man. We talked about that drop coverage and the pick and roll action, and I think that's why we did not see Okot a lot kind of in that second half because she's still learning how to play that. Unfortunately, her first instinct is to drop back, and we've seen Madison Booker just call that screen out every time and like go at that action, which is smart. Smart play. And if she's going to drop back every time, she's going to pull up for that jumper every time and knock that thing down. So, we've got to get better there. I think that's why we did see Allie a little bit more. That's also why we did see Tack a little bit more as well, because they're laterally, they're a little bit quicker than Okot on that pick and roll action. And we definitely got to get better with that.
For sure. Ferrier getting back in, mentioned that we play Copeland State on Sunday. And that's one thing when the schedule first got released, I love seeing because you knew this was probably the most physical game that we were going to see in conference. And so now the fact that you then get a walkthrough basically on Sunday, get a chance to rest, we'll definitely see more Allie in that game. Dowd will probably get minutes, which she didn't do tonight. So that'll be a game just to be able to rest the bodies before I think we get Oklahoma next Thursday. And so that'll be good just to kind of get a free dub and kind of get back into swing of things, maybe work on some things as well. I'll be honest with the full court turnovers. I mean, man, when's the last time you've seen a college game, high school game, anything with 40 plus turnovers?
Oh man, this was definitely a turnover game. If you had to run some film back, I think each team with at least 20 turnovers apiece. So that's tough right there. But something to watch in film for sure.
Yeah, I mean, the ones that I want to talk about, Okot had two kick aheads she threw out of bounds. Joyce had one that she threw out of bounds. Then you look at McKeer had 2 or 3 turnovers where she's dribbled the ball too long and gets it ripped from her. I know she gets the one back and ends up getting drawing the foul, which was big, but a lot of our turnovers were just careless. Like I know we had a couple with the inbound game that me and you were talking about earlier tonight, but a lot of our turnovers were self-inflicted, especially in that first quarter when Texas jumped out like on the 7 or 8 point lead.
Yeah, absolutely, man. No doubt. Like looking ahead, like I said, once we get LSU or deeper in the conference, like people are going to look at this game and say, like, okay, maybe they don't have ball handlers. Maybe we should full court press them. Maybe we, even from a 2-2-1 or something like that. But just to kind of slow that momentum down and keep that game in the low scoring in between 55 to 65 range. Give themselves a chance, and that's pretty much what Texas did tonight. So, like I said, shout out to Texas again coming in with that game plan.
What do you think for you? What was the turning point in the fourth quarter where you kind of felt like, okay, we got them?
I think it's late in the fourth for me, man. I think it's not there until I see Tessa hit that 3 on the wing. We get a little kind of reverse ball action. Tessa pops out from the wing. Wasn't necessarily a down screen, but it was just more her kind of getting open and finding space. We get the cross court pass. Texas just knocks the bottom down in it. I think that got the crowd into it, that got the bench into it, and then from there we're looking at Raven coming down, hitting a couple baskets. We're looking at Joyce getting to the line, getting the and one, and then from there, excuse me, and then from there I think we just had an advantage at that particular point.
So for me, I'm kind of torn. So I will say I thought the game was over when Tessa hit that three to put us up 55-52 early in the fourth. I thought ball game right there, we got them. And then it kind of went back and forth. And so I think for me, what really ended up being when I knew for sure was we had the and one from Joyce to put us up one, and then Ocott with the big three where I'm sitting there screaming at my TV, no, yes. And so when that three was bottoms, I was like, okay, free throw game now. Play good defense, make your free throws, get out of here alive.
Yeah. No, I can definitely agree on the Ocott 3-pointer, man. I mean, we talk about her, inexperience from how many years she's actually been playing the game, and unfortunately, it does still show. But it's one of those things we, once it goes in, we live with it. But if we miss it, we talk about it type vibe. But either way, great game, great gritty win. Like I said, not a whole lot just to kind of complain about when we do get the win. But obviously, turnovers do stick out for us. Turnovers from our bigs do stick out from Joyce, from Ocott. But at the end of the day, we got to take this win and ride this one out.
Right. Pharaoh getting in 49 straight SEC home wins. All Don does is win in the CLA. You love to see it. Pharaoh, what was your reaction to the Ocott 3? Were you screaming at the TV as well when she let it ride, or did you know it was bottoms when she let it go? Get in the chat, let us know that, because I know I was breathing in the brown paper bag. I was having the panic attack.
Yeah. And let's while we're kind of calling out other things too, let's shout out Makira. Like I said, we didn't really see her in as much in the fourth quarter, which I don't think we thought that, because we knew Dawn was going to tighten up that rotation, especially if the game was close. But from a defensive standpoint, she fills the box. Obviously, I think she had 8 points, maybe 5 rebounds. But the defense on Booker, I mean, we needed that. She kind of replaces Bill from last year, and just being lengthy, fighting over screens, not just laying down when being screened on those pin downs and things like that. But without her, I don't think we win this game as well, just on the defensive side.
For sure. And we'll holler out somebody else in the chat. The Georgia boys, respect the hedges, getting in, big win in conference play. Appreciate some love from our Georgia fans tuning in, watching the show as well. But yeah, no, I mean, just a big time win. You're right about McHugh for some of the stuff offensively that she did. That was obviously some freshman mistakes. That defense can play. Like, she is a legit on ball defender with her quickness and length. And then we've mentioned it earlier in the season. The moment's never too big for her offensively. She's going to attack. She's going to hunt her three a little bit. And so it wasn't falling tonight, but at least she was still looking for it. She wasn't like, oh, the moment's too big for me, I'm just not going to shoot, or I'm not going to attack, I'm just going to swing the ball, whatever. You leave her open, she's letting it go. And so she started the fourth quarter, she missed the three, and then came out. That's when we saw Tessa come back in. But you're right, that defense on Booker, I think, caused Booker a lot of problems in some of those stretches because of how quick and how long she is.
Yeah, absolutely. And, coming into this game and reflecting on the last time we played Texas, we wanted to improve defensively. We wanted to improve, that gap defensive assignment, that on-ball pressure, straight lines to the basket. And I think we did that tonight. And let's shout out one more person, man, Latson. Looking at 12 points, but let's look at the second half defensive assignment she had on Rory going into that second half. She kind of started hot for Texas in that maybe that first quarter going into the second quarter, but she took on that assignment, and we've seen a couple of turnovers that led to some layups for us kind of early on as well. But let's shout out that defensive effort from our team tonight.
Yeah, really, the kind of the last minute and a half of the second quarter And then kind of those first 2 or 3 minutes of the third quarter from Latson were pretty much all 12 of her points. I mean, it was a nice little run for her. She really did kind of take over offensively for us to start the third, which we've been looking for. And I mean, I think she kind of had the matchup to be able to take advantage of some stuff. So that was definitely good to see. We will bring it up, man. The play down the stretch by Raven. I'm glad it didn't cost us, but a fifth-year senior can't make that play. You can't commit that foul with 8 seconds left when it's going to take them 5 seconds to get the ball down the court to even get a shot up.
Yeah, for sure. And I think she knows that. She's definitely experienced enough to know, situational basketball. And at the time, I think she was just kind of wanting to put some pressure on the ball, so she, just didn't make it an easy inbounds play, but just went maybe one step too far, and obviously just had the foul, sent her to the line. You're right, can't make those plays down the stretch. So I totally agree with that. But I think she knows that she's not one of those freshmen that probably makes the mistake again and again. But she'll adjust and she'll be good.
Were you surprised that Texas let it go when we got the inbound to Joyce? Did you think they were still going to foul?
At first, I did, but when they seen 1 or 2 seconds go off the clock, I think they realized so it's over at this particular point. If anything, maybe do foul Joyce, just knowing her free throw percentage on the year. Even though tonight she pretty good tonight. I don't know what her actual numbers were, but
she was perfect from the line tonight.
See, yeah. So I mean, shout out to Joyce, man. We talked about free throw shooting for her, for the season, and then obviously she hit some big time shots. I don't think it was any bigger than going into the halftime. She gets fouled, 0.2 seconds left. She knocks down both of those. We tie the game up. So going into the locker room, it's really 0-0. At that point, and I think that was a turning point as well going into the game.
Yeah, I mean, you look with like 2.5 minutes to go in the second quarter. We're down 7. We end the quarter on a 7-0 run. Texas finishes with 5 straight turnovers to end the quarter. I mean, massive. Just a massive defensive output right there, and a couple live ball turnovers, which kind of helped fuel the 7-0 run to get some easy buckets.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then I believed it was in the third quarter. You had the long pass to McKeer on the full court press, breaking free deep. She got the breakaway layup. I mean, while we did struggle with some things, there were still some pluses to take away, even from the areas where you look and would mark it, well, we did really bad in that area. There's still some bright spots to kind of circle to give you hope that things aren't completely dead.
Yeah, absolutely. I know another comment in there if you want to throw that up on there, Jeff, but respect the Hedges' thoughts on the play of Adele Tack. Big time. We needed every minute that she played on that court, I believe. She played big, just using her length, just a big body down low. Played the pick and roll action good as well. And, that's really what we needed from her. That's probably what we need for her going down the stretch through the SEC play and also just going into March as well. So, shout out to Tack. She's getting better and better every week. So appreciate her effort.
Yeah, and that's my girl. I love me some Adele Tack, and I love the passion she played with tonight. I know it was 2 for sure. It might have been 3 jump balls that she called for tying up block shots or whatever, but just the hand clapping, the screaming afterwards. I love that kind of energy and passion that I felt she brought to the game tonight. You could tell she was ready to go.
Yeah, absolutely. And then another thing for her is just the communication on the court, man. I know a couple times Texas somehow runs this out of bounds play that they get a person under the basket every time. They beat us on it a couple times, but a couple times I've seen her in there. She's calling out those back screens. She's calling out the screens, popping out to the wing, and then at least hedging a little bit until her man can get over, or to the other man can get over the screen. I mean, those are the little plays that happen that's not on the box score that helps you win games. So we gotta have that.
For sure. I mean, just all around, we knew coming into this game it was going to be physical. We knew it was going to be a hard-fought win. I think we all kind of had the score kind of in like that 3-5 range. And so you take the win, you now have opened up a huge gap between who we figured preseason were your two biggest contenders for the regular season championship in Texas and LSU, with both having 2 losses in conference now. We don't play Texas again, so we would have to lose 3 times for them to take over ahead of us. I mean, just an amazing Thursday night when you look at the conference standings as far as you thought was going to be there in the end.
No, you're absolutely right. Tonight was a big night from a standing perspective. I think it speaks volumes once we go to seedings. Hopefully if we, do our part the rest of the way going into SEC play and also tournament play as well. Texas definitely has some work to do. They probably need to run the table going forward and, maybe even beat us in the championship game in the SEC tournament to, try to get a good standing going forward for the tournament. But, for us, it's just about handling business and getting better each week.
For sure. What trying to think of kind of some other big swinging moments. How do you feel? We never blame officials on the show, like, because there's always stuff we can look at the team should have done. How do you felt the officials did in calling a game that was going to be played as physical as both of these teams like to play?
Tough, man. If I'm a Texas fan, obviously I'm complaining about all the on-ball screens or the offensive fouls that were being called. But I could go either way with this, man. I think I'm satisfied with the play calling, or excuse me, with the officiating tonight. Like I said, if I'm a Texas fan, I'm probably not happy with it because I think they probably had more offensive fouls than we had. But I think that at times they let the girls play, and that's really what you want. You don't want things to be dictated from an official standpoint, and you just want to be able to, if it's physical, it's physical, but make sure it's physical on both sides of the ball, and still keeping true to the game.
Right, and respect the Hedges getting back in, agreeing with us that Tack definitely plays with passion. I'll be honest, I'll probably give the officials an A tonight. I felt they let both teams kind of play physical, especially on ball defense. I felt they let the guards be very handsy. A couple of stuff that I disagreed with, but that's just the nature of the game. So I definitely, in a world where you look at officiating and how bad it is in some sports and even some games, I definitely felt this crew had it together tonight.
Yeah, not too bad. Just looking at some totals here. Total fouls: Texas 22, Gamecock 16. So difference in 6 right there. But I think it's the moments on when these fouls happen is really the big time. The big time moments. Obviously, Joyce gets fouled right before half on a shooting foul. That's a big moment that ties the game up. Texas has some momentum coming into that second quarter as well. A down screen gets called for an offensive foul. That changes up. We come down, tie the game up as well. So not bad on officiating, but if anything, it's probably just the moments that some of these calls were called that Texas fans probably just don't like.
Right. And then from the South Carolina standpoint, you have the charge on Tessa, where she drives baseline. I believe we were up 1 or 2 at the time. That could have very well been an and one. And then you have the foul on Okot in the little stretch where we got called for 3 straight. It was her second one during that stretch. Probably could have gone either way as far as offensive foul a second before that. And that's why I say I felt the refs did an amazing job because they let a bunch of stuff go and didn't tighten the game up to a point where it was unbearable. And then, like I said, especially anytime you allow the guards to be physical when both teams are trying to be physical, let them play, let them bang it out, let them figure it out themselves. As long as it's not getting testy, you know what I'm saying? You getting some after ball action and stuff like that. Now you gotta start hitting the whistle every other second. But both teams played under composure with some of the contact and all that. Nobody's losing their cool. Let them have it.
Yeah, yeah. We'll definitely take it for sure.
Well, what you so I guess just your kind of instant reaction now that what game's been over about 30 minutes or so. Um, game go how you win. I mean, just you just happy with the dub or what you taking from tonight?
Definitely happy with the dub. I'm not gonna say it went how I thought it would go because I definitely didn't expect us to have 20 turnovers. Didn't expect like the game pace to be kind of what it was as far as a little up and down, some missed shots. Field goal percentage obviously wasn't where it needed to be for us today, and really 3-point percentage as well. But I think that was a testament to defense on both sides, from Texas and also from the Lady Gamecocks. I think once I rewatched the game as well, some other things may just stand out for me. But the biggest thing right now is they definitely didn't expect 20 turnovers tonight.
Right. And but before I give my instant reaction, I almost forgot, man. We got to pay some bills around here. So y'all stick with us through this, and we'll be right back with you.
All right, y'all. Quick 30-second timeout. Let me put you on real quick. If you're listening to this, you already love women's basketball, and you know Elite is different. Elite looks different, sounds different, and feels different. Well, that's exactly how our friends at Kick-Aff Coffee Supply move. They're over in 5 Points, and this ain't regular coffee. This is top-tier championship level coffee. They've got some of the best roasters in the world like Say, Onyx, Black and White, and DAC, all in one spot. So instead of paying for a mid-cup every day, you can make world-class coffee at home. And the crazy part, you're probably already spending the money. You might as well drink something that actually hits. So here's what you do. Pull up Kick-Aff Coffee Supply, 617 Hardin Street in 5 Points, Columbia, South Carolina. Tell them Chuckin Bucket sent you, and you'll get 10% off your order. That's it. Simple. Upgrade your coffee game the same way your favorite team upgrades their roster. And as always, go Gamecocks.
Man, and you hit it. Something you say during that is it feels different and it sounds different. Bruh, CLA was elite tonight because it sounded different. That place was jumping.
Yeah, definitely best home game for us thus far, which we one of the biggest games. So I know it was rocking probably tonight, and obviously being a good close game as well helped that atmosphere. So I don't think, I shouted out Raven. We don't win if we, don't have Raven. We don't win if we don't have McCure. But let's be real, we don't win if we don't have them fans as well doing their thing from the sidelines.
Right, and I love the reaction that Allie got when she checked in for the first time. I mean, the place just exploded. We were just so ready to see her, even in limited action tonight, just to get to watch her walk out onto the court. The place just erupted. As far as my kind of just overall reaction, definitely glad with the win. The things I take from tonight though are we won a game where we had 20 plus turnovers. I mean, that should you turn the ball over 20 plus times, it should be a loss. So we won a game like that. We won a game where we struggled with full court press and inbounding the ball. And so for all the negatives, to have the composure to fight through all that, to be down 7 early and be down 7 as late as midway or almost to the end of the second quarter, to go through all that and to walk out of there with the dub is just big time as far as being battle tested and what it's going to mean for this team come March and April.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, obviously, we don't want to try to win games with 20 turnovers going forward, but I think that's definitely a shout out to us, just kind of getting some things out, doing some little things, tightening up on the defensive side. I mean, luckily with those 20 turnovers, Texas wasn't able to, capitalize a whole lot when we talk about points on turnovers. But yeah, we've got to tighten that thing up going forward. I see another comment in the chat just talking about screens to free up. Yeah, we touched on that a little bit earlier. I think also Dawn does a good job working the refs when we talk about things like that. Like I said, she knows those things are going to happen. She starts working those refs early in the first quarter, second quarter. Maybe we get those calls, and those calls aren't really like makeup calls, but those calls are like, hey, those getting the refs' attention to that type of action. And yeah, there were a lot of moving screens going on, trying to get Booker free off of those pin downs. So yeah, got to call it out.
And one thing I'll say, I felt Texas got away with a bunch of them in our first meeting. I felt they got away with some tonight. But the thing is, they run so many of them that they're going to get hit for a few a game. I mean, they run at least one every game, every possession, if not multiple. And so it's like when you're doing it that much, I think it's close. I think the reason they get away with so many of them is because they are pin downs and they're off-ball screens. And so a lot of times you don't have officials looking directly in that area. They're more kind of watching the ball action and stuff, whether they should be or not. And so I think it's because it's not your typical – most of the time when you see a moving screen, it's with like a dribble handoff type deal or just a guard with the ball coming over the screen. And so because it's off-ball action, I think is why you don't see as many of them called as you would probably like. But, hey, Vic's a great coach, and they probably have that timing to where it's like, hey, if we run it to this, it could get called, but they're probably not going to call it.
Yeah, absolutely. I was just going to shout out coaching as well. I mean, they do a great job just getting it into their scorers' hands. And that's really Booker at the end of the day, because a lot of those pin downs aren't really the first options. Those pin downs are to get to the second and third options, because there's plenty of times I see the pin down action only for Booker to come back through on some elevator type action, right, on the opposite end. So really it's like one screen kind of sets up the second or third screen, but for sure a lot of screening going on. So you got to be set when making those screens happen.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about coaching, and just looking at the fourth quarter, you have Texas with, I want to say 3 or 4 straight times coming off the timeout, getting exactly what they drew up and getting the bucket they wanted. And then on the other side, you have Don Staley calling the timeouts to advance the ball to the front court and then drawing up the perfect play to get the ball inbounded. And so it's like, these are two of the best coaches in the game. They both got titles, and so you saw it firsthand tonight.
Yeah. Man, do you think we hear Schaefer this week complaining about the schedule again, or you think it's a wrap for that?
No, and he kind of backtracked his statement in his media day on Monday or Tuesday, whatever it was. And then I believe it was yesterday, Dawn didn't take any offense to it. She was just like, man, look, it was a post-game interview. Tensions were hot. Like, sometimes you say some stuff you wish you wouldn't have said. And so the SEC is a brutal conference. And look, that sucks, right? To go on the road to probably your 2 biggest games back-to-back in the conference slate, early in the conference slate, that's brutal. And so, but unfortunately, the SEC is getting a little bit deeper. I mean, you look even tonight, Mississippi State gave Vandy a game for 4 quarters. Florida gave Kentucky all they wanted for 4 quarters. And so the middle of the pack in the SEC are going to be good tournament teams. Now, should they beat a Texas or a South Carolina? Probably not, but they're going to be tough outs. It's not going to be roll out of bed and beat them by 30 like you saw 5 years ago.
Right. No, you're definitely right about that. Definitely getting better in that middle of the pack section. Shout out Ole Miss as well. We didn't talk about them tonight, but another team that's just getting better year over year.
Well, let's we've been talking about individual players and their performance. Look, man, she was nails from the free throw line down the stretch, had the big and one in the fourth quarter. But let's talk about Joyce's game, because for as good as she played in the fourth quarter, that first half was rough to watch.
Yeah. And it's one of those things we've talked about before with Joyce's game, things that she's got to be better with. Ball handling in the open court, passing in the open court. And then the biggest thing is, like, how do you play out of the double team? Kind of read and react type thing. Like I said, she has to make that jump going into next season. Hopefully, she works on that currently now and going into to the end of this season. But in the summertime, we got to work on passing, we got to work on ball handling, and we got to work on playmaking out of a double team. And that doesn't mean forcing the ball up. Sometimes that means dragging that double team out, and kicking that thing maybe cross court, kicking that thing top of the key for the 3, but just finding the open person. And sometimes, dragging that double team out just to get off of the double team back to single coverage, sometimes that's the play. But really, it's just, playmaking at the end of the day and just making those right plays. Second half, yeah, some big time moments, big time plays. It's one of these games where we had, multiple people in double figures. So, it was by committee tonight when we talk about scoring, which, take that all night. And it just shows the depth that we have from that starting five. And also, we've got it on the bench as well. But get better. But turnovers. She's going to give us about 4 to 5 turnovers a game. We see a 3-second call. We can't have that. I think we've seen, maybe the offensive foul call as well. We can't have that. But just got to be smarter when it comes to the play calling, saying if she's going to reach her potential.
Yeah, I was going to say in the second half, you have the offensive foul. You have on kind of like a little secondary transition type deal. You have the 3-second call, which was just absolutely brutal. Get your tail out of the paint. But one thing I will say is the thing that I love is that no matter whether she's hitting shots, not hitting shots, how good or how poorly she's playing, she's going to give you everything in the tank. And there were a bunch of 50-50 balls that maybe we didn't get, but she affected. You look at the one in the first half where she knocked it free, chased it down against a guard, and got to the ball right with her. Yeah, it was out on her, but I mean, just a massive, massive play. And then there in the fourth quarter, getting on the floor for a loose ball. It ended up being a shot clock violation, so it didn't matter. And then, of course, securing that last rebound off the missed three. I mean, just a couple massive plays down the stretch on some 50-50 stuff. And then she did miss her last free throw, but then about chased the rebound down on that and just about ended the game right there.
Yeah. Big time. And we talked about it earlier, the free throws. So let's recap it again. Like I said, as loud as we are about her mistakes, let's make sure we're giving her the credit when credit is due. Knock down those free throws, man. And love it. Love to see it.
And we got a couple more comments jumping in. Raven was clutch down the stretch. 2 big shots. Man, we brought it up, man. Both of those leaners clutch. There was so much talk before the game. Who's the best point guard in the SEC? Roy's been getting a lot of national attention. Raven a dog. I think she right from outside Atlanta. Like, Raven is a dog. So we glad that she's our point guard. And we love Raven around here. And then just stumbled upon the channel. Love the commentary so far. Go Gamecocks. Hey man, we appreciate you tuning in. Yeah, so Chuckin Buckets on the Fanatic Sports Network. We do all Gamecocks. If you like the content, make sure you hit that sub. We drop previews for videos, and then we go live every Thursday around 9 o'clock. Sometimes that game start time, depending on what that game looking like, we might be on a little bit late. And then if it's a late game, we usually do like a live reaction to what's going on in the game. But yeah, we all Gamecocks around here. And then just Fanatic Sports in general during the football season. You got the snap count where we do previews and talk about SEC college football. On Tuesday nights, you have Respect the Hedges, where it's all Georgia football with former players and our other co-host for Chuckin Buckets, Coach I. And then Thursday nights, all year long, is always about them Gamecocks. You got the stat line with me, your boy, the stat guy, where we talk Gamecock football and you ride along my emotional stress of being a Gamecock football fan. But look, now it's women's basketball season. Chuckin Buckets in full effect. And we get to be happy because we got one of the best coaches in the country as well as one of the best teams in the country.
Yeah, definitely appreciate you tuning in. Shout out to him.
What you give me another play you want to talk about tonight? I guess let's talk about Tessa's game. We criticized her after the Texas loss. She obviously gave up the midi to Roy to end the game. She kind of got bullied a little bit by Booker earlier in that game during the Texas loss. What'd you think about Tessa's performance tonight?
Better. I mean, obviously my comparison is going to be to the last game. Like I said, the end of the last play that we see is just Rory hitting that shot over her. But through the game, we see some defensive lapses from Tessa from that particular game. Not bad on the offensive side for that first game, but if we carry over to this game right here, I mean, some of the basics, sliding your feet, fighting over screens, being active on the ball as well, and that made a difference for us. Like I said, everybody contributed for us from a scoring perspective, but we really needed, Tessa's defense while she was out there starting out on Booker for that first quarter, and she gave us the effort, and that's all we can ask for.
Right. I mean, you look. I mean, even sometimes when she got switched on to Roy, I mean, she was there hand and face. They hit some difficult twos tonight, and you hats off to both Booker and Roy. They'll do that. They'll hit some middies. They got a lot of front rim roll-ins that I thought were very generous from the rims tonight, but she was just there. It wasn't like she got caught up on a screen or anything like that. She was in position. And then on the offensive end, 3 for 4 from downtown with just some massive threes when we needed them. And to me, it was the one to start the game after went 1 for 7 or something like that on Sunday night. And then to come out and hit that 3 from the top of the key, which isn't a place we normally see her shoot from. She's normally on the wing or in the corner, and just absolutely bottoms that opening 3.
Yeah, definitely. We knew she was going to bounce back from that particular game right there. But just like her, we'll shout out Latson as well. Shout out, Raven as well, kind of starting us out. But what I definitely like is the girls got downhill. That started really the foul trouble that Texas got into early. When we seen Tessa attack the basket, we see Raven attack the basket, we see Latson attack the basket, and that's really how you dictate the game. We talked about it in the preview. Is like we didn't want our opponent, in this case Texas, to dictate the game in the beginning of the game. I think we did a pretty good job of kind of dictating the game and kind of how we wanted to play, and it looked like just come out and be aggressive, come out and be in attack mode, and I think that's what we've seen right there today.
Oh, obviously, Copeland State on Sunday. We're not worried about whether we get the win or the loss. Hang on, we'll check out the comment real quick. Gamecock Chuck getting in after the last game. She stayed in the gym and worked on her shot. It showed tonight for sure. And I actually mentioned that to the fellas when I saw it. That just shows her composure and who she is as an upperclassman, already graduated from college, to didn't have the game she wanted to have. Let me get right back to work. Let me not wait for practice the next day. What did that mean for you when you saw that clip of her putting up shots like 30 minutes after the game had ended?
I mean, that's just a person that's not satisfied, and that's what you really want out of your player, one of your returning players, experienced players. She's got a championship as well. And when you see that it sprinkles down to the rest of the players, but never be satisfied with the game you had, whether it's good or a bad game, because there's always something that you can work on. And the shooter that she is, she'll never be in a back-to-back slump like that. Like, she's too great of a shooter to be in that type of slump. But she knew she needed to fix some mechanics, and I think that's why she had the game that she had. Went, like you said, 1 of 6, 1 of 7, and it was just the little things. And I think a lot of those little things were just rush shots. When we looked at those moments, take your time, set your feet, follow through, knock it down, and that's what it comes down to.
For sure, and like we were saying, so Sunday you got Copeland State. It's going to be a win. What are you looking for? What do you want to see out of the game Sunday? What's something that you're hoping to see us work on, or maybe a certain player that has a good game that we want to see a little bit more from?
Obviously, I think we see a little bit more of Allie kind of going into this game, and hopefully she gets some offensive touches as well. We can see her, what she gives us on the defensive side when we look at, we talk about pick and roll action, right? We talk about that big, not having to actually drop back in that pick and roll action, but really kind of stay up top and still slide your feet. So hopefully we can kind of see some of that as well. But I think the biggest thing, which I didn't see tonight, is just, running some good offensive sets. I don't think we got into a lot of offensive sets tonight. We tried to, but we couldn't get to the first option. Then we couldn't get to the second option. And then after that, it just became like, get a bucket, right? Get a basket. Raven, hit a pick and roll, get to the basket, which, we hit some big shots with Raven. We had some good drives to the basket, which got us to the line. But I think we need to, clean up some things on the offensive side when it comes to the offensive sets, because at this point we're trying to get ready for next week, right? Once we get past Coppin State, we got to look towards next week when we talk about looking at Oklahoma.
Right. Yeah. For me, I really want to see the starters minutes limited. Let the girls on the bench get some run, even if that means that you only beat them by 20, whatever. Like, I really don't want the starters to play more than maybe like 22, 23 minutes apiece. I just want to give them a chance to kind of rest their legs a little bit. And that way you kind of see what you got in Allie if she's on the court for longer stretches or actually gets to be a part of the offense. Obviously, you get the freshman McDowell back in after not playing tonight. And you probably see Dowda pick up some decent minutes as well, and then more out attack and let her continue to take steps forward.
Yeah, definitely. Key on the rotation. I think we knew she was going to tighten up that rotation, especially if the game got close, which it did in the fourth quarter. And to your point, get Tack some more minutes in this Coppin State game, because guess what? We got Reagan Beers coming up, and we're going to need an extra body down low. So we got to be ready.
Right, and to this comment, in our preview of the Texas game last week, I know I brought it up. You might have mentioned as well, KB. One of the things that we did not like in the first matchup against Texas was that 3 of our starters played the entire first half. And we felt that was very uncharacteristic of Don. And I know the game kind of dictated that a little bit, but you have to go to your bench early because our girls don't play 40 minutes a night. That's just not who we are as a team. And we even brought it up that a couple weeks ago that, like, we still think the minutes are too high. You got, like, a couple weeks ago, I still think we had 2 or 3 girls averaging like 35, 36 minutes, which has never been the case under Don. And so it's good to see the rotation tonight. Like the comment said, you then allow for that fourth quarter to be your starters and let them bring the game home and not rely on your bench in critical moments in a tight game.
No, you're absolutely right. Definitely agree with that.
And then he also Chuck again getting in. He wants to see Allie get comfortable playing. She kind of looked lost tonight in her first action. Granted, she only played 5 minutes in her first game. Yeah, I mean, first game for her, she did kind of look lost on offense. I felt defensively she was fine, though. I felt that she was where she needed to be. She was kind of directing traffic a little bit. You saw her out there talking, which you like to see. And so I think just as she gets more time to practice and gets more game minutes, I think we'll see her become a contributor.
Yeah. Like I said in the beginning, like I said, not mad at the minutes that she did get. Obviously, in the preview, just talked about, if it could be good or bad, but the limited time that she had, it was just, a body down low that we needed to kind of take up some minutes for. And more on the defensive side, I don't think Don put her in there expecting her to, drop, 5, 6, 7 points or whatever that looked like, but just be a body, take up some space, make it tough for those entry passes. But the biggest thing, help out on that pick and roll action. We can't have that drop action that we've been seeing from our 5. And step up and just slide your feet. So I think we've seen that in those first, couple minutes. But all that's going to come with experience when we talk about the offensive side, though. But it's definitely coming. For
sure. Going at fire, getting in. Tona Bees isn't ready for Texas. She's a freshman. Not surprised at all. Yeah, and we aren't mad or disappointed or anything. We were just excited to see her get her feet wet. And to see her get her feet wet against Texas, who has really good post.
Yeah.
And so that was awesome to see.
Yeah. I think she would be ready if she started the season with us, though. Like I said, the comment kind of makes reference to, her being a freshman, but, we've got McCure, freshman. She was ready tonight. I think if Turnabees was with us at the beginning of the season, had the game reps, knew the rotation, and looked a little bit more confident on offense, I think she makes some key plays in that.
Right. And then Respect the Hedges getting back in versus Coppin State. He wants to see Tony Bees get more minutes and get more comfortable and better inbound plays. And I think we will. I mean, we'll have 2 practices before then, or at least a practice and a walkthrough. Like I said, as the season goes along, I think the more in-game minutes she gets, we're going to see her get more comfortable just playing 5-on-5 basketball. And obviously, the more practice she gets, she'll get more comfortable with the plays and such. But definitely a piece to watch out for come SEC tournament or even March for us.
Yeah. Respect the Hedges, man. Get ready for that backdoor lob play. It's coming. It's coming.
Love to see it. And really, I'll be honest, a play that I kind of hope we see, and I think we will at some point, is the play that Texas ran on the 3 for that Booker miss is kind of that back shoulder fade to Oldacre from the sideline down to the post. I think we'll see something kind of like that. She's 6'7", has the 6'10" wingspan. So something like that. I definitely see, maybe not this year, but by next year, will be in Dawn's arsenal for that sideline inbound as well. Our boy Coach I getting in and joining us. Coach I, what's going on? Oh, guess he is not joining us. But yeah,
I think so too, man. We'll some of them plays that we used to run when we had Watkins, right? Athletic big, obviously, she could put it down as well. But I think we come back to some of those plays. We come back to some of those isolation plays at the high post and just kind of let her go to work, or some backdoor action from the high post as well, and just kind of see if we can feed her to get her closer to the basket. So I think we go back in the bag and pull out some of them plays.
For sure. What from an overall offensive standpoint, how would you grade the game tonight? I mean, obviously the 20+ turnovers is a really bad mark, but I guess kind of outside of that, how'd you like the sets and the action we did run? How'd you like the aggression from certain players? What was your kind of takeaway on just the offensive side?
Overall, not impressed, man. If I had to give it a grade, I'm probably looking at, C+ to B-, but maybe even C+, honestly, just from a grading perspective. But I'm also that person that's kind of been on the Lady Gamecocks offensively and, thinking that Don kind of needs to change it up from an offensive side of things and kind of, maybe get an offensive-minded type coach coming in here so we can kind of run some of these open sets. Because the talent that she's recruiting now, man, I mean, guards that can play make, guards that can cut with the basket, some of these guards that can make plays on the bounce as well. And our offense over the years has been so, kind of isolated to some high post action from the 4s and the 5s. Obviously, missing Chloe this year as well. That hurts our offense also. But we've had the Camilla Cordosas, we've had the Leah Bostons, Asia back in the day, those type of things that Don's kind of thrived in as far as having that big 6'5", 6'7" type player. But I think the game is changing, and we're going to have to find ways to kind of change that offense up. Not just this year, but I want to see it change even going into next year as well. But we had some opportunities tonight. We didn't get into a lot of offensive sets and actually score off those offensive sets. We tried to, but I think some of that was Texas defense as well. They're familiar with this team. Some of these plays that we ran last year, we're still running this year. So, scouting kind of becomes the same as well. Yeah. I'm gonna say probably I say a B-, man, if I had to give a grade.
Yeah, I'm kind of right there with you. I think I'm going to that C+. The one thing I've mentioned a good bit is that we have lost the ability to run all of our high-low stuff. Joyce doesn't look to pass from the elbow. She's going to attack that. So that part of the game is just gone. And that's a good chunk of Dawn's kind of bread and butter playbook of what she loves is that high-low action with the 4 and 5. I felt tonight it was a lot of girls just making plays, not necessarily the play calling or the offense in itself. And we got another comment. really familiar. Yeah, and they brought it up on the broadcast. You're talking about 6 times that these two teams have met in 368 days. So just a little over a year, they've played each other 6 times. It's the most that 2 ranked teams have played each other since 1981, 1982. And so that's just, I mean, a ton of times to play each other for 2 talented teams like this. A lot of the players kind of still around. And then, of course, the coaches still around. And like I said, 2 of the top coaches in the game going at each other. So C to C plus for me. Too many careless turnovers. Yeah, the turnover stuff was bad. And I know we talked about that earlier. Was there a stretch or a time for UKB where it was just like, this is ridiculous? Like, we have to take care of the basketball.
Man, it was definitely a stretch, man, where we probably had back-to-back turnovers, and part of that was probably, Oko not giving the ball up, man. Like, give it to your guard. You get the rebound. Like, let's not take a dribble. I think that's on 2 people. I think that's on her, but it's also on the point guard. You got to go get the ball. It's not running down the court, letting her bring that ball up. And Joyce, same way. Even though we leaned on Joyce a lot tonight, and don't get me wrong, the pressure was there. The smart play was to like, okay, let's get it to Joyce. She's not being pressured getting up the court, so let's let her bring it up, and then hand it off to our point guard. But when Joyce gets in that open court and it's like, hey, she feel like she got to get downhill and make a play, that's when we kind of get ourselves in trouble. So we get some of those careless turnovers like that. And then we get a 3-second call. Like a 3-second call, I feel like is like YMCA type thing or middle school type thing. And, we can't have those type of things happen right there from careless turnovers. We just got to clean those up. So I agree with that.
Yeah, and for me, as far as the turnovers go, it was all the kick aheads. Like I said, I think there were 3 or 4 tonight where we just shot the ball out of bounds. And it's like, just kind of layer the ball over the top and let them chase it down a little bit. You don't have to get it all the way to the rim. So those to me were when I was just beating my head off the couch. Like, what are we doing? Because at the time, like they all happened at like the worst time. Like we're down 2 or it's a 1-point game. Like, come on, those turnovers you'll live with when you're up 10 or 15. But when you're in a dogfight, those are the type of turnovers you can't have. From the next comment, as far as we talked about the French girl, yeah. So Ali Tornabees, we both were glad to see her get her 5 minutes of action tonight. We're both hoping to see her get a little bit more involved offensively come Sunday against Copeland State. Obviously, we felt she looked fine on defense, but didn't touch the ball at all on the offensive end, and at times kind of just looked lost on offense and was just kind of moving from the block to the top of the key, not really with a purpose about it.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. And I don't think she looked not confident, though. I think one of the comments talked about her, looking confident. I think she looked confident being out there, but it was just like, where do I go, in the offense when it breaks down and, being familiar with the rest of the players on the court. And obviously that just comes with experience, that comes with practice time, because, when it breaks down, where's the open spot? Where does Joyce really like to go? Where does, Tanaya like to go? And then from there, let me find my open spot to see where I like to go. So that just comes with experience.
Right. And Coach getting in, he agrees with you that that Oko shouldn't be dribbling the ball outside of the 3-point line and definitely not trying to bring it across half court. And to that, Coach I had to call KB right after it happened. But we brought it up earlier, but that 3 to put us up 4, that was a classic no, yes type situation. But she shot it with confidence, so I'll give it to her. She let that thing go.
Yeah, we're gonna live. We'll live with that. But let's talk about it. Let's talk about it after the game. But we definitely live with that. But she's just gonna get better with time.
She is, and my only thing about it, and we talked about it when I called you, was that I thought, like, when I watched it live, it felt like she had the ball like 10 seconds. And the longer you hold the ball before you shoot a 3, the worse shot it becomes. Turned out she had it for a little over a second, so I guess it was fine. But it felt like she had the ball for an eternity before she shot it.
Yeah. She definitely had, when she first got the ball, definitely looked uncomfortable. And I've seen that in players that don't normally handle the ball in the at all, especially bigs. It's like, okay, when I catch the ball, I'm supposed to rotate it, but if it's not there, what do I do next? So at that point, it's almost a panic type mode. And I think she didn't panic in the moment right there, but her next move was like, okay, that's not there, that's not there. Oh yeah, I'm about to shoot this thing. I'm about to shoot this thing. And form, I mean, her form is not bad. Her form is not bad at all. Obviously, that's not a shot we want her to consistently take, but in the moment we live with it and take the win at the same time.
Awesome. Well, we're about to give our defensive grades. If y'all still with us, get in the comments. Give me your play of the game defensively, whether it was the play that maybe got things started or that you felt was like the picture perfect defense. Let us know what y'all thought, and then we'll give y'all our defensive grades as well. So you kick us off, KB. What was your defensive grade for tonight?
I liked it. Like I said, I more or less compared it to last game. Did we give up straight line drives to the basket? How was our own ball pressure? How was our gap defense? How was our help defense? I fast forward to tonight. I see Joyce come over on the help side defense, get a big time block. I see Tessa slide her feet and stay in front of her defender. I see Tanaya, guard the ball from a ball pressuring perspective. So me, man, A minus tonight on the defensive side of things. It could have been better if I look at rebounds, but I'm not going to focus a whole lot on rebounds. We got beat on the rebounds total tonight, and I think they edged us out. At the end of the game as well. But I'm gonna give it an A minus tonight.
Yeah, I'm kind of right there with you. I see Coach I getting in with the Del Tac A+. I'm all for that. I ride with the Del Tac and the passion that she plays with, but she came with that energy tonight on the defensive end for sure. I'm right there with you though. I'm kind of back and forth between the A- and the A, and I think because we won the game, I'll bump it up to the A. But for me, you brought up the Joyce block. For me, it was a little stretch late in the game. You get a Del Tac with the tie up on a block to cause the jump ball. Then I believe she had a second one, though it may have been Joyce that actually got it for another jump ball. And then you get Raven coming behind Madison Booker off the inbound play that you brought up earlier, realized where the ball was going, drops back down, and gets a block from behind on her. And that little sequence of those three tie-up blocks to kind of stifle the possession there for Texas were just massive as far as not giving up on plays just because the ball got down into the paint.
No, I definitely agree with that. Comment here, we have to live with it. We have to live with Chloe and Ashlyn not playing on the team. Big facts. Big facts. Those are big defensive personnel that we lost going into this particular season. But it's one of those things that Don always talks about. It's the next person up. So these are high touted players that we've brought in, the people that are still here. And a lot of times defense is just really effort. Sometimes you may not be the best at sliding your feet and things like that, but a lot of times it's just getting to those loose balls. Can you box your man out? Can you go get a rebound? Get a jump ball. But a lot of that is just straight up effort.
Right. And somebody who I don't think defensively gets talked about enough for us is Tanaya Latson. And a couple times just getting her hand in the passing lane, getting steals, going down the other way for layups, and then her own ball defense on Roy a little bit. She was on Madison a little bit, and then obviously on Jordan Lee. She did great defensively for us tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. Another comment is similar to the COVID year. We definitely would have won it that year, and it's the same year if those two were playing. I agree with that. I definitely agree with that. No lies told with that. How about Tessa getting the offensive rebound, drawing a foul from Jordan Lee that gave her fifth foul? Another one of those turning point type games, turning point type moments we talked about throughout the game, and that was huge. Tessa, and that was just really effort. Jordan Lee, she really had Tessa boxed out a little bit, but once Tessa went up, she boxed out and kind of went under her, and Tessa was able to get her hands on the ball. But that's just really effort at that point. So definitely shout out to Tessa.
No, and that was at that point in time, that's a massive rebound. Obviously, that was Texas' 15th foul, so now you got 2 free throws. We're up, but it's still kind of back and forth. And now Texas' biggest threat from 3 is out of the game. And boy, would they have loved to have had Jordan Lee down the stretch with it still being a 2-possession game to jack up some threes. Now, as a team, Texas wasn't good tonight from behind the arc, and they only hit about 4 a game. They're one of the worst 3-point shooting teams in the country. But to lose your one threat from out there, that killed. I felt right there. That was kind of like almost like a nail in the coffin for Texas.
Yeah, for sure.
Hard-nosed basketball game for sure. And, we knew coming in, both of these teams love to play physical. You got Odaker, who is a low down low and loves to bang, loves to be physical. And then Booker and Roy Harmon in their own right play a very physical brand of basketball. And then we know what South Carolina is going to bring to the table, both on the defensive and offensive end. And so I was glad that we got to see the physicality play out and the ref kind of eat the whistle a little bit and it not become a tic-tac situation where the game just gets out of hand with like 30 or 40 fouls called.
Right. That's what you want to see, though, man. It's SEC play, man. We talk about SEC football on the channel as well, and, being like hard-nosed football, but this is hard-nosed basketball when we talk about women's SEC basketball and the conference that we're in. So I think every time that you see these teams play, it's going to be that type of game. We'll see it in the high 50s, low 60s, possibly maybe hit 70, but it's going to be a defensive battle, man. And those are the type of games that I love to see.
Yeah, and for everybody that's part of the replay gang and is just watching this after the fact, man, y'all be sure y'all get in the comments, drop your thoughts on anything we talked about tonight. The Chuckin Bucket Boys are always in the comment section to chop it up with you. So y'all be sure to drop your thoughts and just overall on what you thought about the win or a certain player or the turning point in the game. We would love to hear y'all's input and chop it up with you a little bit. We love basketball. All of us are former coaches. And then, of course, I'm a huge South Carolina fan, and me and KB love the Gamecock women's basketball for sure. What you got any final thoughts before we get out of here, KB?
No, that's it, man. I think last little comment, has Coach spoken post game? If so, what did she say? I have not seen it personally on the post game. Definitely once we jump off of here, I'm gonna kind of jump on there and see what she had to say. Obviously see what our homeboy Vic had to say as well. Hopefully not mentioning scheduling or anything like that. But definitely curious on her thoughts on the game and players that stood out for her. But other than that stat, man, just riding this wave right now, man. It's a great night for tonight.
Yeah, for sure. And we jumped on here right after the game, already running a little bit late because of the fouls and timeouts down the stretch, and ESPN got to make their money with the commercials. So we were just trying to get on here. So I didn't see any remarks from her. Same from the comment. Somebody else says he's been searching but hasn't seen anything yet. I'm definitely interested to see not only her thoughts, but see Vic's thoughts on the game as well. Yeah. But yeah, man, we appreciate all y'all jumping in and being active in the comments and tuning in with us. End of the day, we leaving with a W. End of the day, we now have a massive cushion over both Texas and LSU in the conference standings as we chase down another regular SEC championship. Everybody hit that like button before they sign off. Hey man, we appreciate it. Yeah, definitely smash the like button for us. If you're not already subbed to the channel, make sure you sub so you know when our content drops. Like I said, we go live every Thursday around 9 o'clock. And then we try to drop previews for games as well. Hey man, we appreciate you. We appreciate everybody in the chat, man. Y'all were great tonight. Look, man, what a great Thursday night. The women get the dub. We had a W chat tonight. Just a great night for South Carolina women's basketball, and of course, a great night for the Chuckin Buckets.
Absolutely, man. Appreciate the chat tonight, man. Appreciate the interaction for sure.
Awesome, man. We appreciate all y'all. Look, man, until next time, y'all remember around here, It's always go Cox. We out of here. Peace.